right, joining us today on Pirate Radio Live, host of the Brian Bailey Show. He's a Hall of Famer. He is WNCT Channel 9 Sports Director. He is a Cowboys fan.
He is.
He is Brian Bailey.
Still.
What's up, BB?
Not a whole lot. Kind of trying to get ready for should be a big week. You know, we got baseball at 5 o'clock, East Carolina, North Carolina. Pirates trying to salvage the third game of the series, and high school basketball, playoffs. A lot of teams are in the state tournament, so it's always nice.
I got a bit of the basketball fever after going to Minji's yesterday.
Yeah.
And seeing the Pirates put up 90-plus points in a win over UTSA.
Man, what a job. You know, you look back at the start of the season and some of the games, you know, you really thought they would win. They didn't, and you're thinking like, oh, my gosh, you know. But winning seasons are few and far between at East Carolina University. So you got to give Mike Schwartz a lot of credit to how he's brought this thing around.
Yeah, and two more home games to go, including ECU going for the sweep over Charlotte this Sunday. And it was a fun game yesterday. Jay Shane Woodard played his tail off. No C.J. Walker down the stretch. So R.J. Felton got it done. Jordan Riley, just a great team win. Mike Schwartz was firing up the crowd. It was fun.
I saw some of that he was giving. He was getting the crowd, trying to get them into it, and doing his Cliff Godwin impression when Cliff gets in that third base coaching box and says, come on, get him up. And Schwartz was really animated. But that, you know, that's good. And that's, you know, people keep saying, you know, basketball this, basketball that. But the bottom line is if they get a team out there that plays hard and wins games, they're going to get a lot of fans there. I firmly believe that.
If they win on a Sunday, which they will be favored to do so, they'll have a big one against Tulane. Still a chance to get that 4 seed.
How would that be?
And get a bye.
Can you imagine that?
That would be crazy.
That would be something else. But yeah, that would be really neat to see them in that 4 slot and, you know, take that bye and get a chance to watch the first day and be ready for your game. That's a neat thing if it happens.
And if they stay 6 where they are, they could avoid Memphis for a while. But just keep on winning, see where the chips fall. But man, was fired up yesterday for that. Baseball fans will be fired up today at Clark LeClaire. Pirates losing the first 2 to North Carolina. I heard you talking about it on your show, the pitchers duel in game 1, and then bats from both sides got going in game 2.
Yeah, they really did, and it was I was really enthused about the fact that the Pirate bats came to life, because we all know, you know, those guys, the young narrative, whatever it is, they are young. But we know they can play. We know they have a lot of talent. We know they can really hit the baseball. And it's just, you know, sometimes it's going to take a little time. Those guys, you know, you put a 17-year-old on the mound against a team. And North Carolina, you know, you look at the veteran team that they have. They've got a really talented, really good baseball team. Probably a team like East Carolina will have in 3 years. I mean, that's what you'll see on the Pirate side.
We'll see what pitching is left for game 3 for both of these teams today.
Yeah.
Went through a lot yesterday.
They did, and that'll be interesting to see, you know, who can go, because some of those guys won't be able to go in this game. And then you got Wednesday night to worry about with the Old Dominion coming to town. So.
Yeah, and you're already down 1 midweek game. The curse of Campbell struck again last week. Another 1-run loss to them. So really need to get that midweek game this week.
Yeah, it'd be nice if you can, you know, win this one today against Carolina, then take your midweek game, and so you got a 2-game winning streak going into the Keith LeClaire Classic. And as I said on my show today, just what that whole thing means to everybody in town. You know, the 23 jerseys, the 23 hats. I mean, you get a chance to think back to what, you know, Keith LeClaire, you know, meant to everybody. You know, even to me personally. I mean, he was really. You didn't really realize it until, you know, maybe close to the end, and you knew he had ALS, and you knew what that meant. But then, you know, just the way he would take time out to send out emails, and, you know, you go visit him. I mean, he was just really a great guy.
I was not as close to athletics as I am now back then. So I remember watching those teams. I didn't know much about Keith LeClaire, but I know that was, you know, you talked about it just then, something that was personal to you.
Yeah.
When he was here.
And Meador tells the story all the time. He went out to interview him one time, and Coach came over, you know, during practice and said, I got a few minutes, go ahead. And Meador was like, you know, I don't want to interrupt practice. He goes, no. He said, your time is just as important as my time. So let's go ahead and do it. That's the kind of attitude that he had, and that's the kind of person that he was.
I was texting with little buddy Meador last night.
How were you now?
And we were talking about the awesome job that Jim Zoki did calling basketball, and was kind of surprised to hear him when I was on the way to Minji's. And my daughter and I got there right around halftime yesterday, so listened to a lot of the first half. And Jim Zoki will join us coming up Wednesday on the show, but he did an awesome job. He's doing football, and I understand he'll be doing this Sunday's basketball game as well. But I liked his energy. I like old Zokes.
Yeah, he's good. And I sent him a text this morning, as a matter of fact, because Meador texted me and said, hey, if Zoki's doing the game, he sounds really good. And I was driving at the time, so I turned it over and listened to him some on the way in. And I sent him a text today and say, hey, man, you did a great job with basketball. That was fun to listen to. You had a good game to call. But the energy and enthusiasm, that makes it. Really makes it.
Got helped out with some good offense from the Pirates yesterday. But
R.J. Felton.
Yeah, he was great. Really enjoyed Zokes, and we'll talk to him coming up this week on Pirate Radio Live. Bailey, so we got baseball, we got hoops. Did you watch hockey last week?
Yes, I did, as a matter of fact.
It really sucked everybody in, didn't it?
We had the big screen in the sports office up.
Yeah, I heard you were watching with our buddy Alex Harper. Who's a big hockey guy.
Yeah, we were watching it. Yeah, that was fun. We were trying, and we showed highlights that night. In fact, we had in our set where I'm at. If you look over to my left, there's a big wall. That's what we call the weather wall, and that's where they do weather over there. Well, whenever weather's done, I can tell those guys, hey, can you put up the hockey game in that big wall? So we're watching the overtime period in that wall, and as soon as I was getting ready to finish up my 3.5 minutes, I looked up and I said, and Canada has just scored a goal to win the game and to win the tournament, and we'll have the highlights of that coming up in our nightlight in just a bit. And then Zach Kaplan did a great job hustling, edited the shot, and we had it under the end of the show, so worked out well.
Really cool deal put together by the NHL, kind of out of nowhere. A little warm-up for the Olympics. This was their all-star break, and
I liked it a lot better than All-Star games.
Absolutely.
Sure.
It created something that people enjoyed watching it because the players cared.
Right.
And played hard. And that's hard to do for all-star games.
Yeah. It
almost
used to
impossible.
Be, and I was talking to Zach about this, I think it was. But, back in the day, the NFL champion in August would play the college football all-stars. I don't know if you guys remember that or not, but the Green Bay Packers would play the college football all-stars, and that was like an all-star. Yeah, and I mean, and they would play, and now these days, obviously, the college all-stars have stuff to do. They don't want to ruin their careers by getting hurt, and the same thing with the pro team. So, but that was a big deal back in the day in late July or early August. All-star games and the NBA all-star game, they used to play defense, and it was fun. I mean, you don't have to go out there and tear your ACL. You can tear your ACL walking down the street. But I mean, if they play some defense, I think the NBA All-Star game would be better. But they don't play any defense. They just throw it up and down the court. And the NFL's gone to at one point it looked like two-hand touch. And then now there is two-hand touch.
Yeah.
Or
and
flag.
And baseball, I understand, used to be a really competitive game.
Oh yeah.
But part of the problem there, along with all the other money issues and everything, is I think interleague play and stuff like it kind of ruined. We see these matchups during the regular season now, and it's not
Pete
as
Rose,
special.
Remember Pete Rose? Who was the catcher's name that he ran over?
I mean, I don't know if I
Ray
was
Fawcett.
alive. I was going to say.
matter.
I was going to.
Were you going to say that?
Let me finish. I was going to say Fassy or something like that.
I heard another. Every once in a while, I'll see on TikTok, I'll see like a sports trivia question. I think of you because obviously you do a great job with all the sports trivia. That Zach goes to every one of them and tries to win, doesn't he?
He won last month.
I heard, yeah. Yes. He never shares it, but I know he wins.
Yes.
It was what is the only NBA logo that has never changed since it started? Do you know that one?
Celtics comes to mind.
Nope.
Blazers.
Nope. Bulls. That's what.
You should have let us keep guessing.
That's what TikTok said. That's what TikTok said.
Big dog guess.
Not
Lakers.
sure if it was true, but I was thinking it was the Knicks because the Knicks haven't done a whole lot with that logo either.
Yeah.
It's changed a lot, though. It's been little changes.
Has it? Little changes.
That's a great question. I wonder how many NFL teams, like with Packers, Bears.
No, they all have weird old logos.
true.
You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's what.
Giants have been.
I heard another TikTok question. I can't remember what it was.
I didn't know you were
So,
such a big
it's
TikTok
okay.
guy.
Well, I get bored.
Brian Bailey joining us. I was going through some cards last night, Bailey. I found a couple of Cowboys that I don't hate.
Oh well, you won't give them to me then, will you?
You can have
Right.
Darren Woodson and
yeah.
DeMarcus Ware.
Yeah.
I don't. They're not on my.
Two great Cowboys.
They're not on my super hate list. I just dislike
There
them.
aren't many Commanders / Redskins that I don't have on my hate list.
Art Monk, you can't hate him.
No, I did.
Come on, man.
He's a nice
You're
guy.
just a
but-
bad
but
person.
I just hated him.
Well, you know what? I just named two. Name two Washington players you don't hate.
I don't hate.
Yeah. And then I'll let you go. I'll let you leave. That's all you got to do is name two.
I don't know if I can come up with
Come
two
on,
I don't hate.
man.
Because I didn't like the Hogs. I didn't like any of those guys.
Well, if you don't like Art Monk, you're not going to like
no,
many people.
I kind of liked Art Monk. I definitely didn't like Riggins.
Probably
He didn't like the Cowboys either.
I'm
though.
thinking you didn't like Theismann. Probably.
You know what's funny about Theismann is I hated him as a player. Hated him. You know, he broke his leg. Obviously, we all felt really, really bad. But then I met him years later. I thought, man, that guy's kind of nice. He's really a nice guy. What am I thinking?
You know what's funny? You never know. I don't know. I just, as a kid, I went to a Redskins game, and Theismann walked in his nice suit, and his wife, I guess it was, had like this mink coat on, and I felt like they were too good to, like, they didn't really look at anybody or talk to anybody. So I had a bad impression of him. But everybody I talked to, Jordan Anders, that used to work at the Reflector, said he sat at a table randomly with Joe Theismann. He was the nicest dude ever.
Yeah.
So, like, it's funny how we get, like, one small interaction and think we know about a person.
That's true.
And we don't.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
I agree.
All right, Brian Bailey loves Joe Theismann and Art Monk. You heard it
I
here
guess.
first.
Sonny Jurgensen comes to mind. I like Sonny
Sonny.
Jurgensen.
Oh, yeah. Brian Bailey Show, Shane Winkler, ECU softball team off to a pretty good start to the season.
Well, I think so. I think what he's done, trying to schedule harder teams is just,
Yeah.
what you
Great
have to do.
schedule.
And he figured that out last year when they had that great non-conference record. But because there are a lot of bad softball teams you can schedule, you can get you some wins. But what he wants is to win championships, and what he wants is to be nationally ranked, and he's going about it the right way.
And also the Big Dipper,
Yes, yeah, Brittany Dipper,
new coach for lacrosse.
yeah, and lacrosse, they got off to a 3-1 start last year, and then struggled after that. But obviously, and she was great to talk to. When you're a sports guy and you're dealing with, you know a little bit about most sports, but you get into lacrosse, and I don't know a whole lot about it. But she did a great job with the interview, and I enjoyed it, and we'll have her on again.
You mentioned high school hoops earlier. Here's some trivia for you.
All
I
right.
saw that former Farmville Central Jaguar Samaje Teal, remember that name?
Yes.
He is a 1,000-point scorer at this Missouri Valley school.
Was he Farmville Central?
Yeah.
I was thinking, why do I think that name was Green Central?
Nah.
Oh, I got it. I got it.
Uh,
There's another kid at Green Central. I can't remember his name. It was very similar.
the guy that won the first three-point contests went to this Missouri Valley school. Who won the first three-point contests
The first three.
in the early 80s?
I
That
don't
was
know.
later. Craig Hodges was later, big dog. How about Larry Bird?
Oh, they're coming to town this week too.
Indiana State. Yeah, they'll be here
Indiana
for
State.
baseball.
Yeah, the Sycamores.
Sycamores. Was it your employee? Garrett. Was that his name? That
Yeah.
went to Indiana State?
Garrett Short.
Garrett Short.
Yeah.
There you go. It's hard to keep up with all your guys.
Yeah, they only last 2 years with me, and then they're out of there.
I saw Towson won a basketball game, and anytime they come up, I text Zach Maskovich, and I said, hey, can't beat them Tigers. And he said, yeah, I'm watching it with my buddy Terry. And I was like, Terry? And he sent me a picture. He was at this was a couple weeks ago, at the NFL Pro Bowl stuff, and he was right beside Terry Crews,
Oh,
who
really?
was hosting it, which was crazy because I was watching Terry Crews on my TV. So I was looking for that redhead son of a gun behind him. I couldn't see him. But
Good stuff.
Zach having fun down in Orlando
Yes,
these days.
doing well. Texted me the other day.
Your coaching tree is pretty good. You
Yeah.
should put together your coaching
I
tree one
send
day,
them out,
Bailey.
out and about. Jill Jelnick's still at Nashville.
Yeah.
And she
doing
won, I
big
think she
things.
won an Emmy recently.
Saw that.
Yeah.
Online.
So, yeah, so she's doing great. And it's good to have that.
All right, BB. We'll see you at Clark LeClaire. You going to be live?
Live
on
at
Channel
5:02, I think it is, 5:20, probably 6:02 and 6:20. So,
9? All right.
yeah, look forward to
We'll
that.
check you out on TV.
All right.
Thank you, BB.
All right.